Grand Theft Auto and your man left because he got holes. Defense mode switching to attack mode, and I don't think Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to outsell 5. It's funny because if you go online and look at Reddit or posts or whatever, everyone's saying, oh, of course it's going to outsell it. It's going to outsell the fuck out of 5. I don't think so. I don't think people realize that Grand Theft Auto 5 was a moment in time. It came out towards the end of the previous generation, 2 generations ago, the 7th generation. Came out towards the end of that generation as like the last hoorah game for both the Xbox One and the for the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. Like a swan song almost. And then it came out for the PS. Then immediately got re-released for the PS4 and Xbox One when those came out. And those like 2 big releases because you either bought the game on those consoles as it came out, which a lot of people did, and then chances are every single person that bought Grand Theft Auto 5 for the PS3 and Xbox 360, when they got themselves a PS4, Xbox One, mostly PS4, they bought it again. I know I did. Well, I didn't have the 360 and the PS3, so I don't really count. I bought it on the PS4, but everyone rebought it. Because, better graphics, they added the first person thing and then pretty much all of the features of, Grand Theft Auto Online and all that stuff. I think that was for the, and of course, that was for the PS4 and the Xbox One mostly. And then we had the PC gamers that also had access to Grand Theft Auto as well. But I think it was just a moment in time. I mean, this would be like if Mario, the first Mario, the best-selling Mario game is the first Mario, the one that came on the NES. That would be like, oh, because the first Mario came out such a phenomenon, and that's pretty much sold the NES for everybody, that Super Mario 2 is just gonna outsell it. It hasn't. I think the first Mario, if Odyssey hasn't outsold it yet, the first Mario is still the best-selling Mario game that ever came out. Super Mario Bros, the first one. And every other game has sold well, but it hasn't sold as well as that. That one just outsold the fuck out of everything. And I think New Super Mario Bros also sold similar. But like usually it's a moment in time. Like all the pieces connect. Grand Theft Auto 5 sold 205 million copies in the course of 10 years? It's been over 10 years now. It's 11 years actually. But like the thing that Grand Theft Auto 6 is gonna come out and just sell, like now the first day sales might eclipse what Grand Theft Auto 5 first day sales did. But overall it's gonna sell to 200 million copies or 300 million copies or some shit. Because when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, the Grand Theft Auto 5 sales are gonna start stagnating. But I don't think it's gonna outsell it. I think Grand Theft Auto 5 is Rockstar's magnum opus, as it's called. I think that's the greatest guy. It had a combination of everything. It had the mob shit that you liked from Grand Theft Auto 3, and it has the San Andreas shit with Franklin. And then to add to that, they added a freaking crazy redneck that like committing crimes too. So it covered all the bases. It offered the mafia, kind of like the Sopranos version. Because Grand Theft Auto 3 was just like, kind of mafia-related shit, but he was just in there. Grand Theft Auto 5 kind of went the Sopranos family route, where he has a family, but he's in the life, or whatever. He used to be in the life and do heists and shit. I know it's not really mob-related, but you know what I mean. They had something for everybody. They had the family, the adult shit. Not adult shit. I make it sound like the other ones are kiddie, but like, they had the family guy in crime that used to do crime that's rich now, that's kind of bored with his life and hates his life and all that shit. Then they had the crazy redneck, and then they have the freaking guy in the streets that wants to do shit. I mean, it covered all its bases. And of course, it was the first game to do kind of like those 3 stories intertwining in one. Okay, maybe not the first game, but like, come on, 3 stories in one. Like, people really wanted a San Andreas sequel, and that was as close as we're gonna get. This new one is kind of going the Bonnie and Clyde route, the my ride or die bitch route or some shit, where you either the guy or the girl, whatever the fuck. But that to me doesn't seem as interesting as this one. Because if this was a movie, yeah, fucking man and woman alike will be buying the freaking game. And there is a lot of female gamers, but this is still gaming after all, and this is still a violent game after all. I just don't think it's gonna sell as well as Grand Theft Auto 5. I just don't. I think at first it will, and it will sell well. But like, how many games have sold half as much as Grand Theft Auto freaking 6? I mean, Grand Theft Auto 5. I mean, it's not like, I'm talking about AAA games. I'm talking about games like Minecraft that just, one size fit all kind of game that could be on anywhere. And still it only sold a few million more than what Grand Theft Auto 5 did. And I don't think Grand Theft Auto 5 is even on the Switch, if I'm not mistaken. And the Switch is currently about to be the best-selling console of all time. It's clipping on the freaking heels of freaking PS2 that's always held the title. And this is the best-selling game or best-selling piece of entertainment in the history of entertainment, of the history of mankind. It's Grand Theft Auto 5 sells like freaking McDonald's burgers and shit. It's ridiculous. And it makes them the McDonald's burgers selling money as well. Billions and billions of dollars in their freaking bank account because of the Grand Theft Auto. And yeah, and they're putting what $1 to $2 billion into this game coming out. Like I think maybe overall this game might sell like maybe half of what Grand Theft Auto 5 sells. But even after Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, I still think Grand Theft Auto 5 is still gonna keep selling. As long as they keep the servers up and Grand Theft Auto Online and all that shit. Like this might be one of those those games like how Smash Brothers Melee is still the most beloved for Smash Brothers of all the Smash Brothers that people still play relentlessly. Or like the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 of the Marvel vs. Capcom series, or the Mario, I'm about to say Mario 64, Mario Odyssey on 64. Maybe it's not a good comparison, but I just don't think they're gonna capture that magic again. Because we're in the middle of the life cycle of the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox. Even though the Xbox One X is the series, Xbox Series consoles is damn near non-existent in competition comparison. It's not gonna come out for the Switch, so you're losing that fucking almost 200 million fan base, install base right there. The PS5 has only sold 50 million copies. Yes, I know you got the PC gamers and Steam Deck and all that shit, but still. Like, the Grand Theft Auto 5 was re-released 1,000 million kajillion times. It was even re-released on re-released on the PS5 and Xbox Series console. Is the game gonna sell well? Of course it is. Is it gonna sell well? Have stronger first week sales? It most likely will. But is it gonna do the overall long-lasting numbers? I don't know. Usually when there's a hot series, there's that one culmination in the series that just sells like fucking crazy beyond everyone's wild belief. And then the rest of the series remains popular but doesn't just sell as well. And usually it's the first game, like a Pokemon or Mario, where like the first game sells like crazy, becomes a phenomenon, and then it dwindles down from there. It doesn't quite sell as strong as it used to, but it still sells mighty strong. But with Grand Theft Auto, of course the first 1 and 2 Grand Theft Autos are just, cute little indie games. Not indie games obviously, but they're just cute little games where it's from top to bottom playing. And Grand Theft Auto 3 was the one that fucking, captured everyone's imagination. It was like the first open world game and pretty much, was the big banger. And then Grand Theft Auto's only sold more every game they outsold themselves. 3 sold well, Vice City sold even more, San Andreas sold even more than that, freaking 4 sold even more than that, and now 5 fucking sold, beyond everyone's wildest dreams. I mean, with before they would just sell like the first Grand Theft Auto, I think Grand Theft Auto 3 sold almost 15 million. The one after that sold like 17. The other one, San Andreas, sold 25 or 24. Then 4, I think it sold around the same, or a little bit more. And then we shot all the way to 200 million with this one. Now there's gonna be a dropping off point. Grand Theft Auto is not just gonna stay super successful for the rest of its fucking life cycle. Grand Theft Auto 5 sold 200 million. Grand Theft Auto 6 is gonna sell fucking 400 million. And then Grand Theft Auto freaking 7 is gonna be like Final Fantasy 7 and be the best-selling game of all time. Sells 1 billion. It's not gonna keep going up. At this point, Grand Theft Auto could either sell as well as 5 or just under it, or way under it, like half of it. But I think Grand Theft Auto 5 was just a phenomenon. It came out at the right time, at the right place. And the fact that it just kept selling, and then the pandemic, I think during 2020 was its peak sales, where it sold the most out of any other year because of the pandemic. So that whatever momentum it was losing, or if it even lost any momentum, it fucking went right back up. So I see a lot of people online, so of course it's gonna outsell freaking 5. It's gonna outsell the fuck out of it. I said people are just going crazy right now. The fucking Tears of the Kingdom outsell Breath of the Wild? I'm pretty sure it didn't. Shit, if you want to go to lesser games, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the more longer-awaited sequel to 1 on a much better-selling console, that didn't sell. Part 3 didn't outsell 2. Fire Emblem Engage didn't outsell Fire Emblem. I know Tears of the Kingdom didn't outsell Breath of the Wild. If we got a Mario Odyssey 2, that wouldn't have outsold Odyssey. I know you're saying, well, those are like the sequel games to the same console. Yeah, but like for Zelda, we had a long wait between Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild. It was a long wait. Mario Odyssey, we had to wait from Galaxy 2 to Mario Odyssey because the freaking 3D World and 3D Land games were like considered like not real 3D Mario games. And for as far as Zelda fans went, we had to wait all the way into Breath of the Wild to get a sequel to that, which took over a decade? It took forever. Not over a decade, but it took a while. It's the anticipation. I know that's what people are saying, it's game outsell is anticipation. But Grand Theft Auto game isn't games like that, where it has a story mode, you beat the story, and that's it. Everybody's gotten their fill off of Grand Theft Auto because of playing online and, and fucking around, killing people, and then playing the whole mod. There's like a million modded versions of freaking Grand Theft Auto, of any kind you can think of. There's modded freaking Grand Theft Auto SpongeBob, modded Grand Theft Auto freaking Dragon Ball Z, any fucking mod you can think of. It's a phenomenon. Like, Grand Theft Auto 5 is like the freaking Michael Jackson's Thriller of fucking video games. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jackson could never quite sell another album like Thriller did. Up until recently, Nintendo couldn't really touch what the first Mario game sold, the one that came out of the NES. They got close a few times, but they never quite matched it. Like, if we ever have another Grand Theft Auto game that or even any game period that sells in the AAA market like the Grand Theft Auto 5 sold, I think we're gonna have to wait until like when VR actually takes off, and not the current VR we have, but like the real VR, the ones you see in like Sword Art Online, where you have to fucking sit down in a chair and put your freaking helmet on, and then it paralyzes your body, and then you go into the real world. Maybe that kind of Grand Theft Auto will sell like that again, but I just don't think it's gonna sell as well. The 6 is gonna sell as well as 5. The premise is not as interesting as the 1 and 5, where you got a little bit of everything in it, and they all fucking like, you know, bam, or like all come together in one. This is just a freaking Bonnie and Clyde story, Grand Theft Auto style. It's a good story, it's a unique story to tell, but I know the game is anticipated. Like, I have a brother that freaking says like he's not touching his PS5 until Grand Theft Auto comes out. I'm one of those people that are not really that hyped about it, don't really care too much, but I just don't think the sales are gonna match. This is Attack, mostly back to the fence, mom out.